All right, and then secret CIA files claim Ark of the Covenant has been found. So I read through this thinking that this probably was not going to really talk about anything except Ethiopia, because Ethiopia seems to be the modern day talking point. Most people are saying, "Oh, the Ark of the Covenant is in Ethiopia." I've never thought that, just because I've been someone who was tuned into the work of Ron Wyatt and his claims, and I personally believe are true, that the Ark of the Covenant was found right there in Jerusalem. It's right there. It's been there the whole time. And it's in Zedekiah's cave there. So I thought we'd look at that just a little bit closer, but first we'll look at this article on Daily Mail. This is posted on March 26th. Location of the chest believed to be the Ten Commandments has long been a mystery, but CIA documents claim that the Ark of the Covenant has been found. According to the Bible, the Ark of the Covenant was built by the Israelites shortly after they fled Egypt around the 13th century. Moses then placed the Ten Commandments inside. CIA conducted experiments in the 1980s with individuals who claimed they could perceive information about distant objects, events, or other people. That's remote viewing, by the way. The report details one of these tests was given coordinates to locate a target. They then described the Ark of the Covenant was hiding in the Middle East. So I saw that and I'm like, well, that's actually true. From what I understand, at least. Some historians believe the Ark of the Covenant was originally kept inside the Holy of Holies, the innermost chamber of the ancient Temple of Jerusalem, before it disappeared during the Babylonian sack of Jerusalem in 586 BC. There's also a legend that the artifact was taken to Ethiopia and now resides in a local church. See, that's the one. That seems to be the, or some version of that seems to be the more or less official narrative, although I don't buy that. Evidence suggests the chest exists, has yet to be found, but the CIA document declassifies in 2000 claims it was discovered in 1988. The target is a container. This container has another container inside of it, the document states. The target is fashioned of wood, gold, and silver, and it's decorated with a six-winged angel. The remote viewer continued to say that the coffin-shaped object is located somewhere in the Middle East and saw people in the area speaking Arabic. The remote viewer, however, was not told that they were searching for the lost covenant before the experiment began. So here is one of the documents that was released, approved for release 2000 on 8/8/2000, so August 8th. Date of the session was December of 88. So 1988 was when this session was. Access and describe the target identified by the coordinates. And then says training target 0209 is the Ark of the Covenant. So again, this is a document that was released. The recently resurfaced CIA document claims that the Ark of the Covenant has been found and may lie somewhere in the Middle East. Interesting that they're saying in 1988 it was located. Ron Wyatt officially found the Ark in 1982 in Zedekiah's cave. Just going off of what his reports stated. Let's see here. I'm kind of jumping ahead. CIA document, a remnant of the mysterious Project Sunstreak, suggests U.S. government has known where the Ark is for years. Yeah, and I would suggest that the Israeli Antiquities Authority has known as well for many years, since 1982 at least. And then they've got a shot here, a screenshot of the Raiders of the Lost Ark film. And then here's another document that was released. The date of the document itself is December 1988 as well. Approved for release in 2000. Talking in a little bit more detail about the actual target, meaning the Ark itself. Remote viewer claimed the Ark was hidden somewhere underground in the Middle East and that it is protected by entities who will destroy those who attempt to break into it. So that right there tells me that is true. that this is referring to, I think, what Ron found. It's protected by entities who will destroy those who attempt to break into it. According to Ron Wyatt, there are at least a couple different angels who are always with it, who are at their posts all the time and protecting the ark. So maybe that's true. Notice it says protected by entities, quote unquote. It doesn't say people. The psychic projected their consciousness beyond their body to search for the sacred artifact, writing down his observations as they went. What he wrote was bone-chilling. Target is located in the Middle East. Language spoken is Arabic. Looking to see if there's any other details. The psychic described nearby buildings that resembled mosque domes and individuals clothed in virtually all white. How about that? Virtually all white. With black hair and dark eyes. One figure I honed in on wore a mustache, they wrote. The target is hidden underground. Dark and wet were all aspects of the location of the target. So I'm just reading this for the first time with you guys. So that tells me it's in a cave. Zedekiah's cave, which is what I've been saying. So the target is hidden. It's underground. Dark and wet were all aspects of the location of the target. The purpose of the target is to bring a people together. It has something to do with ceremony, memory, homage, and resurrection. The resurrection. Yeah, because remember, the mercy seat sits on top of the Ark of the Covenant, and that all sits 20 feet below where the cross was, where Jesus was crucified. And the blood and the water that ran out of Jesus' body flowed down through the cracks in the escarpment right there, where his cross was, flowed down through the ground there, 20 feet down onto the mercy seat, directly below where Jesus was crucified. That's the story. That's the story that Ron Wyatt talks about. And he discovered all this in 1982. Let's see here. The psychic goes on to say that as time comes, the mechanics of the lock system will be found to be fairly simple, and that anyone who attempts to open the container by prying or striking will be destroyed by the container's protectors through the use of a power unknown to us. Yes, that would be God. Remote viewer made this sketch of a white mosque with a domed top and windows. I don't know what that is exactly. They also sketched 8 stick figures lined up against a wall, labeling them mummies. Toward the end of the document, the remote viewer sketched a winged creature with a tall beak and talons and labeled it Ceridin. Not sure what the mummies would be. Anyway, I found that really interesting, and the Ron Wyatt story it's all here, ronwyatt.com, and where he goes into this is Ron here. He goes into the details of how it all happened and where the story started in 1978, as far as his trips back and forth from Nashville, where he lived, over to Jerusalem. And this is the whole adventure here. This is him finding it in 1982, and there's several pages here to read through. And if you don't want to read through all that, though, there are a couple videos here that have kind of a condensed version of what happened. But several years ago, I made a video myself on some of those details, and I know many of you guys who found out about the Diamond Report much later probably haven't seen these videos, and that's fine. For those of you who have, I thought we'd watch just a couple-minute refresher here on this, and I thought I would play a little bit of this because I wanted to show you guys what's out there as far as the details surrounding where the Ark of the Covenant is actually located. It's there. It's been known about for a long time. Now, this video I produced and uploaded originally on 12/24/2020. So this video is that old. 4 years and some change. So let's watch just a little bit of this, and I will, come back and we'll go into it a little bit further. But I thought it was really interesting, and some of the details on this website, if you want to follow along, it's arcdiscovery.com, arcdiscovery.com, and it's talking about Zedekiah's cave. So let's listen in just a little bit here. This is me from about almost 5 years ago now. This I think you'll find very interesting. Go to my friend Kevin Fisher's website. It's arcdiscovery.com. When you get there, click on at the top, you can click on Ark of the Covenant. It takes you right to this page. And in this section of the website, you will find some incredible information. And obviously, I can't go through every single page here on this video, or it'd be way too long, but just know that it's here if you want to read through it. I'm going to read through some of what I consider as the highlights, just so you kind of have it in the background here, and you'll see how it kind of interplays and how it mixes in well with the video clips that I've already shown. I would definitely recommend visiting the Finding the Ark page. It's a really good, basic information about exactly how things happened, how they transpired, and also it has a link to the video that we watched a little while ago. For instance, on this page is the picture of Golgotha, the place of the skull. You can see the two eye sockets and the nose. That's the crucifixion site, folks. Here's a side view, the nose there. Pretty amazing. There's also a close-up of the cross hole of Jesus and where the cross was, and this is where the blood flowed through after the earthquake happened. And you may remember Ron mentioning that at the time of the resurrection there was another earthquake, and he believed during that earthquake is when the rocks closed back up, at least to the point where no more rain or anything else would be allowed to wash away Jesus' blood on the mercy seat. So God closed it up just like he opened it. And in this picture you can see Kevin standing here at this cutout, which is where the sign Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews, would have been placed. Now he's quite a few feet above where the actual cross hole is. The cross holes are quite a few feet below him under all this dirt now. But you can get an idea at least of the layout of some of this area. Here's one of the cracks from the earthquake coming down the escarpment there. And again, you can scroll through this page just by going to arcdiscovery.com. I want to show you one of the most important things on this page, in my opinion. I do like this diagram. This is a side view. Now here's the cutout. This is basically about where, or right in here maybe, was about where Kevin was standing. You can see how much was below that's been filled in. Now this is the rolling stone from the garden tomb, the stone that was rolled away when Jesus was resurrected. It's been moved over to here. Now keep in mind too, this is just right around the corner from the garden tomb. It's only just like, I think it's 80 feet or something. It's not very far away. It's all right there in one little area. So what we're looking at here is a side view. This is the cross hole right here. You can see where the rocks that were rent, the hole was ripped here in the bedrock, and the blood was allowed to flow down to the ark. The ark was in this stone box 20 feet below the cross hole. These were the other lower cross holes, two of which would have had the other two people that were crucified, the other two men that were crucified with Jesus. So it gives you a good layout, a good indication of what that's all about. This to me is probably the most important diagram on this page. This is the Tabernacle of Witness, or the Ark Cave, or the Cave Temple, whatever you want to call it, that Ron visited again in 1990 or so. He went there on his 4th trip, and that's when everything had been cleaned up and moved around by God's angels. The Ark Cave drawing was done by Jesslyn Johnson, who was a friend of Ron Wyatt's and believed in what he was doing. And note that Jesslyn made this drawing just in March of this year, 2020. Notice that the ark is positioned up against the eastern wall and no longer along the northern wall. Christ will be returning from the east and on the Mount of Olives, east of this location. So here you have the ark, right here, and here's the crystal wall behind it. The ark is backed up to the 12-foot wall to the east with colors of the rainbow emanating from it. The ark is 4 feet, 3.5 inches long without the angels. Here's the angel here and here. They're on the ends of the mercy seat. It is 2 feet 7 inches wide. Crystal-like wall is 12 feet wide by 18 feet tall. So here you have the wall behind the ark, and immediately in front of the ark is the altar of incense, 21 inches square, 3 feet 3 inches tall, directly before the ark. You know, I'll leave it up to you guys to go back and watch that whole thing if you want. We just watched just a few minutes of it, but man, there's some incredible details about the Ark of the Covenant, and it's really interesting to me, I think, that this Daily Mail article came out now, because I've been saying personally that I think that I wouldn't call it imminent, but I do think that there will be some sort of revealing of the Ark before too long. Probably in some sort of earthquake type of situation, or perhaps war situation that either destroys or seriously damages the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock, because I think we're getting close to that time where the Israelis are going to be screaming, "Hey, look! It's God's will. The Dome of the Rock is damaged and has to be torn down, and so is the mosque and all this stuff, so we can build our temple." You know, I really feel like that's where it's going, although it's hard to know for sure. True Nature says, Doug, why do you think the CIA released that ARK information right now? Sorry if I missed your theory. Well, that's kind of what I was going into right this moment, actually. Yeah, it's End Times Dates video 8. Emily says, that's correct. That is the video we were just watching a clip from. You know, I don't know. I mean, it's possible that they're getting ready to do something like this in Jerusalem. And while I'm talking about all of those details, let's look at where we're actually talking about here. This is... The red marker here is Zedekiah's cave. That is what Ron Wyatt has always stated, that is where the location is. That is where we saw in that video where the cross holes were 20 feet below the cross holes in Zedekiah's cave is where the Ark of the Covenant lies. And it's still there today, because the Israelis can't touch it. They can't go move it. They can't. God won't allow it. But they do know that that's where it is. So that, to me, kind of proves the whole point with, the fact that they know where it is. Maybe that's why they're putting out stories like this now, getting people talking about it, because I think that there's going to be some move at some point here pretty soon on all of this, and that it will come out. So anyway, as far as its location, you can see Zedekiah's cave is right here. So you could basically say this red marker is where the Ark of the Covenant is. Here's Temple Mount. And if I zoom in just a little, you'll see the Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa Mosque is right here beside each other on Temple Mount, right? Well, the city of David, we've gone over this many times, but I'll reiterate again. Don't want to be boring here, but the city of David right here, just down the hill from the Temple Mount, the city of David is actually where the first two temples were. They weren't on Temple Mount. They were not right here. They were just down the road. I should say they're just down the hill a little bit from where the Temple Mount is. So you can see this is where the mosque is. This area right here is the city of David. And you may remember from my other videos, the Gihon Springs. This is the Gihon Springs right there. Right here. So it's all right here, and you can see that if the first two temples were indeed in the city of David, right in this area, and that is where the Ark of the Covenant was, it only had to be taken from here to right here, and that is only, just like a few thousand feet, really. It's not very far. So it's all right here together. City of David, Temple Mount, Zedekiah's cave, the Ark of the Covenant sits right there, but they can't touch it. So again, it's all right there, really, really close. And I personally expect that there will be some earthquake, whether it's human-derived from tectonic weapons, or some war situation where it gets damaged. I don't know which, but it'll probably be one or the other. It's my guess that something will happen here with the mosque and the Dome of the Rock, one or the other, or probably both, here on Temple Mount. And it will be enough that will, if it's an earthquake, for instance, you could see where it wouldn't take much for it to also affect this area over here and perhaps knock down the wall. There's a wall in the Zedekiah's cave that's walled off the entrance to where the actual ark is. So it could knock down the wall in the cave and then also damage the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque. It's possible that one tectonic weapon could be used in that area that could generate those sorts of, consequences, and then the Israelis will be saying, see, look, it's God's will. We have to build the temple now because the mosque is damaged and the Dome of the Rock is damaged or whatever. And look, it's also revealed at the same time the Ark of the Covenant, it's in this cave. We just didn't know it when they've actually known it since 1982. So anyway, that's kind of my hypothesis. I have no idea if that's actually going to happen, but I can see it playing out that way for sure. And again, this video that we watched here, this End Times Dates video, part 8, has a lot of detail on Ark of the Covenant. And obviously you could visit ronwyatt.com as well and get more information there. So I wanted to mention all that. I thought it was really good information. And to me, it all makes sense. It fits biblically with what I personally know and believe, and then also it fits biblically with what Ron Wyatt talks about and how he was the discoverer of the blood on the mercy seat, that he had it tested, and that he could confirm in the lab tests from various labs across the world that the blood that was tested was a special type of blood. It was human blood, but it didn't have the normal 46 chromosomes that human blood has. It only had 24. Normally you'd have 23 chromosomes from the mother and 23 chromosomes from the father, so you'd have 46 chromosomes, right? Well, this blood that Ron had tested in 3 different labs across the world, one in Jerusalem and another lab in Germany, in Berlin, I believe, and another lab in East Tennessee, in Knoxville. And the conclusion was that instead of the human blood having 46 chromosomes, it had 24. It had 23 chromosomes from the mother and 1 Y chromosome from the father, which is God. So it didn't have human chromosomes for the father. It only had the Y chromosome to make Jesus male. So it proved that the blood from that person had no earthly father, only an earthly mother, is what I'm saying. It could be no one else's blood. So it's an amazing story, and I think that only God would reveal that type of information. It's not something that humans are going to necessarily think of to make a buck off of the story. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it was still alive. Yeah, they reconstituted the blood, and it was still alive. So that was the amazing part of the story, and Ron talks about it. And I don't know if it's in this video, but it's certainly in some of his other videos. Just do a search on YouTube for Ron Wyatt, and you'll find all kinds of really good information. So anyway, I wanted to pass all that along to you guys. It's kind of long, but good info, I think.